Hey everyone, Paul with ConvertingCopy.com, and I've talked a lot recently about how backlinking is no longer the focal point in SEO that it once was. Time was that you could just create a page for the keyword you wanted, put that keyword in the title, the description, and the body, and mix in some LSI, that's latent semantic indexing keywords, which are relevant to that keyword to make it look a little more natural, and then create some targeted backlinks using that keyword as your anchor text, and you would rank. Well, you can't get away with that anymore. It's more complex now because that was much too easy to take advantage of, basically. So Google's been looking for ways which are a little less, I guess, simple in terms of influencing search engine results pages. And they want more natural kind of factors to rank pages with. So it's more difficult to take advantage of social influence, for example. So nowadays you have to build your Facebook, your Twitter, your Google Plus profiles. You have to get lots of social proof. And you also need to consider your user metrics. User metrics are a great way to assess the quality of a web page very easily just by going by how people interact with that page. So I'm going to talk about 6 user metrics which will affect your Google ranking today that you need to be aware of and that you can improve upon so that you can fix your ranking and basically just prove to Google that you have a page which is worth ranking well. Note that you can check most of these in your Google Analytics profile. So if you don't have one of those, I'll include a link in the description of this video to how to get started with that and an overview of how to use Google Analytics. It's free. You just add it to your site. It's a little bit of code that you add, and you can track how people interact with your site to get a much better idea of what you can improve upon. All right, so let's get into the 6 user metrics which are going to affect your ranking in Google. First, we have traffic, and this one is very self-explanatory. The more traffic you have to a page, the better it looks to Google, because this says to Google that you have a page which people want to go to, and they're going to rank you better for that. So what you can do is get as much traffic to your site as possible by checking out my huge list of over 70 updated traffic sources which you can use to boost your traffic levels. Alright, so that's the first one. Moving along, we have the click-through rate in the SERPs. So if your website is actually ranking pretty well within the top 10 or top 20, and it's to a visible point, then people are going to be clicking through your site. Now, obviously, the further down you fall, the less people who are going to click through your site. But in some cases, you may find yourself with a maybe 1, 2, or 3 ranking. And if Google doesn't think you're getting the kinds of clicks that you should be with that ranking, then they're going to drop you down. And I think, this is just my own speculation, but the Google honeymoon period is a great way that they can use to gauge the click-through rates on new sites. So, you'll find if you create a new website or a new page on your website, and you may find that it's shot up to maybe number 2 or even number 1 in Google practically overnight, and you're wondering, what have I done to deserve this? Well, this is called the Google honeymoon period, and I talked about this in another post. I'll include a link to that as well. But basically, Google can use this, if they want, to kind of gauge the click-through rate for your site in that time. And if they don't like it, they'll drop you down. If they do like it, they may keep you, maybe not in that same spot, but maybe up there near the top. So it's a little easier for you to climb up to where you want to be. But click-through rates are definitely very important, so you want a very good headline and description, because those are really the only 2 things that people will notice to separate your page from other pages in the search engine results. One more thing you can add is your kind of Google profile picture to appear in the SERPs. So I'll include a link to a post I'm doing on that very soon, so you can see how to get your picture in the SERPs. You may have seen other webmasters with their pictures appearing alongside their content, and it's a great way to stand out and provides a little more clarity and transparency and authority, which sets your page apart from others in the SERPs, from those webmasters who don't have their pictures up there. Next, we have bounce rate. Now, bounce rate is basically just someone comes to your site, and if they don't click on a second page, they just exit from that first page. They close the window or hit the back button. then that's going to look bad in Google's eyes, because that says that you don't have a lot of content which is worth that person checking out in addition to that first page. Or that first page wasn't even what they were looking for, so they left right away. So the higher your bounce rate, the worse it's going to look for you. So you want to get that as low as possible. So I'll include a link to my post on how to lower your bounce rate, so you can get more ideas on how to drop that number and keep people on your site. In the same vein, we have time on site. So this is just how long is someone spending on your website. Obviously, some websites are going to kind of warrant spending more time on them than others will, just by virtue of their niche or whatever it is they're talking about. But there are ways that you can keep people on your site, and the best way to do that is to create links all over your site, have a very easy to access site architecture, and create a content-rich and full site, as opposed to just having this tiny little mini site, which is, just about getting someone's email address or something like that. The more content, the more internal links that you have, the better it is, because people are going to be spending more time all over your site, and it's going to drop your bounce rate as well at the same time. Also in the same vein, we have pages viewed. So this is very similar to bounce rate and time on site, but the more pages someone clicks through on your site, the better, because that says to Google that that's more value that you're offering to people who come to your site. So they're going to rank your site higher because people are getting more out of your site, as opposed to someone comes to your site, just clicks on 1 or 2 pages and leaves. They're obviously not finding what they're looking for, and Google makes note of that. So again, you want to have internal links, related post plugins, anything like that that's going to keep people looking at more and more content in the vein of what they're looking for. Finally, we have repeat visits. This one's very self-explanatory as well, just like traffic. But basically, when someone comes to your website the first time, then that's fine. They may leave, they may purchase something from you. It doesn't matter in terms of this. But if they come back later to your site again, that says to Google that you have something that is worth coming back to. And again, that's more perceived value in their eyes. So the more repeat visitors that you can get off of your unique visitors, the better your site's going to look, and the better it's going to perform in the search engines, because Google's paying attention to these user metrics. Okay? So remember, most of these can be accessed using your Google Analytics account. It's very simple to use. Check out the links I put in the description of this video to learn more about that, how to install it, and how to use it. And just something to keep in mind moving forward, as this is a very simple to use but very accurate representation of how much quality and value your site is offering on the internet, and Google's going to pay very close attention to that, as they again want the best content at the top of their search engine results pages. Alright, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.